All right, so hopefully we are recording now.
You are.
Good. And I wanted to start out by really kind of just throwing out to everybody, what is two things. What's the best use of this call to help you in your business, to help you just personally, and what's the best timing for this? Is 9 o'clock too late? We used to do 7:30. 7:30 to 8. So let me, for the group that at least is on here, what works best for you? And what would be the best use of this time? I'm not going to say anything till somebody does.
I like 9 o'clock.
You like 9 o'clock?
Yeah, I do, because I have so much to do before that with coaching calls and hair appointments. It works best for me.
Okay. Carol, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say the very same thing. I think 9 o'clock, I'm settled down by then. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm usually in bed by then.
Me too.
And me too. It's this, it's the Lancaster County thing.
Well, we need to be up at 5 tomorrow, so.
All right.
All right. Well, we are going to keep this.
Yeah.
So maybe we leave it around 9 if that works, and we'll revisit. Maybe next month and see.
Hey, Joan.
Yes.
Joan, it's Christina. I'm driving, so 9 o'clock works for me. Perfect right after practice. I can jump at least on the phone, not on Zoom, but on the phone.
Great. Okay, great. So, all right. So if 9 o'clock is a good time, I didn't want, this is your business, and we build our business around what's most important to us. And I wasn't sure if 9 o'clock was really interfering with personal time, family time for people. So I just wanted to be aware of that, or at least conscious of that. So what's the best use of this time for you? If we're meeting once a month like this, what's the best use of time? And I've got a couple of ideas, but I'd like to hear from you first.
Well, may I?
Yes.
Just appreciating today, Wednesday, that Monday night leadership call. And we appreciate them all, of course, and they're all really good. Mm-hmm. But what I really, really loved about that leadership call was that it was nuts and bolts, actual strategies, tactics, and action. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was so helpful. I mean, there were actual things that you didn't have to say to yourself, well, how does he do that? He actually explained exactly how he does it. Exactly. And I really love that clarity because, very often we know this is happening, but we don't get the real details. And I love that detail. I mean, Dan Bell's explanation of the business. I mean, he offered our business in 10 minutes, did not leave a single thing out. And it was just an amazing tool for us. You know what I mean? A really great experience on that leadership call.
And good. So that's nuts and bolts. What are we doing? What's working, correct?
Topics that really we can use and really have takeaways. Okay. Actual action steps that we, maybe we're doing and we can share them, or maybe we're not doing and we need to hear them.
Okay.
Makes sense?
That's perfect.
I agree.
Who else had something that they wanted to, what they want to get out of these calls?
That's what I was going to say, actually, was maybe, okay, since we talked last, what has really worked the best and what hasn't worked so well that I've tried that's new.
Okay. Anybody else? Hey, Clint.
Joan, I think.
Hey there.
Go ahead, Christina.
Yes.
Okay. I think too, if some of us are going to different trainings, like we had the New York training, some of us were there. Some of us are going to Dr. Anderson's this weekend. Some may be going to Eric. maybe just sharing, some ahas from those different meetings to expand on them and think about how they can help all of us.
Okay.
Because not all of us can get to everything. So
Right.
maybe just having like a little tidbit or a take, like if somebody had a huge aha from something and they knew that the majority of the people on the call weren't there, to share that and to help us expand from those trainings.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So, I mean, and so if we're going to do that, then when people attend a training, they have to know that when they come back, one of the things we're going to ask them is to bring back something to share from that meeting that really worked for them or that struck a chord for them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's great. Anybody have anything else that would be really useful, a good use of our time? Nope. Well, and interestingly enough, because that's really kind of what I was hoping to hear, because those were sort of my ideas as well too. That I really like to start by kind of celebrating and sharing what's worked for people. Has somebody had something happen this month that was really great? They brought on a couple of health coaches. They had a client who had tremendous success, who referred people to them. They tried a new event or a new networking group. Something, truly that worked well for them, some success, because I think when we share those successes with each other, we kind of build enthusiasm for all of us. So when you hear someone else doing something, you're like, that sounds good. I could do that. So, I do think we need that interaction.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that I thought as well too. And we did have some, right now, everybody who's on the phone call, we had some successes. We had some people hit new ranks. I know, Nancy, you had a few people in your group. And we actually have some new health coaches who joined us in our team. Kim is one of them from one of the Medifast weight loss centers. And Natalie reached executive director. Kim and Heather both hit manager. And I'm, looking just at where they are again, I can see even more growth. So, and I know that, I think, is it Kristen on your team, Nancy, who reached, I think she hit manager? Is that right? And Jane, associate director? So we're seeing people starting to build their businesses, really right from the get-go. And so, even just sharing some of the things that worked for them, I think would be a helpful thing to do as well. Nancy, what did you have? You had how many clients, how many people did you take up to New York?
16.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
And Dr. Anderson made her stand up in the hall and kind of embarrassed her in front of everybody, right? Or no, I don't know that he embarrassed you.
Oh my goodness, he sure did. But it was cool. And then I was asked to be, can I just share something? I had an aha moment. Okay. One of my biggest hang-ups and fears about myself is that I am so inept on the computer. I have Facebook down very well. But other than that, I'm so proud I can copy and paste. You guys don't even know. So I'm so afraid of going further in the business, and that fear is holding me back. And then after Dr. Anderson had me stand up, actually Andrew Schultz asked me if I would be on a Zoom call last week, which was a huge honor, but he had a cancellation and I was plan B, and I was happy to stand in. And on his Zoom call, it was an amazing training. But again, I got scared to death because he had charts and graphs and like the PowerPoint presentation. And I felt so discouraged, like, this is why I'm afraid to go forward. I can't do that. It isn't duplicatable for me. And one of my coaches said to me, but what you're doing is working. You don't have to do that. And don't make it scary, because everybody's going to think like you do, that they can't do what you do. So I'm like, you're right. Like, I don't have to have charts and graphs and have a PowerPoint to make this work. For me, what works is the relational aspect. Having parties in my home every 6 weeks with like a client support party. The clients are becoming very vested. My coaches are really grabbing on. It's the attitude is infectious, and it's not because of charts and graphs. This
No.
is simple for anybody. And when we overcomplicate it, fear gets in the way. And that is one of my biggest aha moments I had this week. So I just thought I'd share that in case anybody else is not real smart on the computer.
You know, I have to share something with you, Nancy. When I was very new in Take Shape for Life, I watched Paula Martino. She was one of the first presidential directors that showed us how to do a presentation on the stage at an event. And it was a big pad of paper, and she used a big marking pencil. That's all she had. There was no PowerPoint, and that was the whole point. Here she is, she's a presidential director, and she's teaching hundreds of health coaches that you don't need to have a PowerPoint. You don't need to have that, you know, it's helpful if you do, and it's fine if you want to do that, but it's not necessary to build a wonderful big business.
And it's very impressive when you see it on a computer, but people still get the point with a pad and paper.
And it's duplicatable. That part is really duplicatable.
Yes.
You know, I make the analogy. I was a musician before I was a chiropractor. I still am a musician, I guess. And Nora Jones, who I love her voice, she's incredible. She would never, ever be even picked for, you know, for even an audition for American Idol. You know, so we all have our inner voice, and we all do things differently, and it doesn't mean that any one is better. It's just, you know, keeping that in mind, because I know I tend to play the comparison game a lot, and I have to stop myself from doing that. Just throw that in there.
I think that's great. And Carol, when you brought up the Paula Martino, I remember I think she already had it prepared, and it was one that she took to every presentation, and there were misspellings, and the lines went up and down, and the handwriting was like you could hardly read it, and her whole point, and we know that Paula is very technically savvy. And that's her business. That's her business that she just sold. But she made it so that people in the audience thought, gosh, if she can do that, I can do a whole lot better than her. And sometimes our need to be perfect really works against us. So, you know, Clippy hit it on the head. No, don't do comparisons. But that doesn't mean that you can't learn from each other. And that's really what I want. We have so much talent on this team. Some of you have built amazing businesses. You're great at teaching your clients, and guiding them. You're great at teaching your new health coaches and helping them get successful. That's what we want to share, is we want to tap into each other. Anybody else have something that they wanted to comment on that? And Nancy, I do love your, I'm actually going to be there Friday night for your client meeting. So, and I do think that that's a great thing. If you have a house, if you have enough clients or coaches in your area, this is very casual, it's very informal, and yet it's a great way to build that camaraderie. Because people join you because they want to have fun. They may want a business, they may want to help people, but they really want to have fun. And, you know, so we try to keep it fun.
They want what we have. They want what we have.
Yeah. So a couple things that I just want to make sure, you know, Saturday, unfortunately, I have a friend who just got some very bad health news, and I'm helping her. I made the commitment to help her with something. So I can't go to Annapolis, but I understand a bunch of you are going. So please, I mean, go. It's a great short little half day. It's not that far. And just, you know, come back with some ahas from that session. The one thing I did want to talk about too is the whole pricing. Did everybody get the emails about the price increase? It's starting March 1st. And I know that, you know, initially people always think, oh my gosh, you know, I'm going to lose clients. They're not going to, you know, they're not going to want to pay that much. It's too expensive. But I don't know how many of you printed out or saw the, let me see, can you see my comparison chart here?
Yeah.
which I love. We used to have this before. And so when you take a look to see how we compare with Jenny Craig, and Nutrisystem, and Isagenix, and Beachbody, again, I think it's no comparison. This is going to increase your commissions, which is a good thing. It's going to increase your frontline volume. So it's going to be much easier to get to senior coach, manager, executive director. And
we're going to be less than Medifast.
Yes, and we're less than,
yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah, we're 50 cents per box less. And they get you. And they get you. I mean,
yes.
How good is that, right?
Wow, how good.
So I really want to make sure that when you're talking to clients, I wouldn't make a big deal about the price increase. I mean, everything increases. You go to the supermarket, things cost more, than they did a month ago or a year ago or things of that sort. And especially, this is a great reason for people to be on Be Slim, because if an average order is going to cost them $270 for the month, on that first, when they do the first 15 boxes and then they get 5 for free, that means they're going to get $27 off the next month's order. And so, a monthly order is going to be right around $330, I guess, $315. I did the math. I don't know where I wrote it down.
But the cool thing is you'll get higher rewards because the price is a little more up, so it kind of balances out.
Yeah. So even though the price is going up, if they're on Be Slim, they're going to get that, and they're going to get that 10% as long as they're over $250.
And the commission rate is uniformly high now. Instead of the 70%, they upped it to 100% on some of the items.
For the Optimal Health bars and the Optimal Health shakes, right? So I think that's a great thing we've got going. So just when you talk to your clients or your coaches who are on your team that might not be on this call, really help them to understand that this is not a bad thing, and that they that how they present it, the tone of their voice, everything else is really what's important, because that's what people will hear. Their body language, their tone of voice, that's more important than the actual words that you're saying. So just keep that in mind. And you also, it may be a way for you, if somebody is, really watching their pennies, you may want to get them to get in an order before the end of the month. Push their Be Slim up or something if they want that. So, just there are two different ways to approach that, I think. What else? Yes?
Are the packages going to stay the same price?
What do you mean?
The specials.
All the packages that are set up.
The Discover packages.
Yeah.
I would think they're going to have to increase.
Okay, because that wasn't in that, so.
Yeah, it wasn't, but I'm sure it has to. I would think it has to.
Okay.
So, good question, though, Jody.
Joan, Nancy Strauss posted on Facebook. Nancy, you did a great job with that post, and it helped me today, actually, with a client who is brand new. She's only on the program 2 weeks, and that was the first thing she asked me today. I got the email about the price increase, and Nancy had put on Facebook, which was totally brilliant, that it was the increase boils down to 19 cents a meal. And when I said that to her, I could hear the stress go right out of her voice. It just went right out of her voice, and she said, well, you know what? It's important enough to me that I'll stretch a little further for this, And so 19 cents a meal, sounds like nothing.
Right.
It sounds like nothing.
Right.
So thank you, Nancy, for doing that. That was fabulous. That was a big help.
And it's less than $1 a day if you think of it that way, too.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't even put it like that. When I said 19 cents a meal, I was like, I love this. And she loved it. It was perfect.
Just tell her to look in her sofa. She'll find a change in her cushions.
That's what you said. Check your old pockets, your winter coats.
That's right. But just even that, to me, that's worth the price of this call. Just to have that to share when, that's a nuts and bolts to me. What are the exact words that you said? What did you say that really helped? So that's great. Thanks for sharing that, Carol. And thanks, Nancy, for posting it. Mm-hmm. Let me think if there's something else. What else did I wanted to say? So I wanted to ask you, because we have the each one reach one. Is there a tool that you're using right now? What do you find the most helpful in approaching people about the business? Not so much about becoming clients, because I really think if you want your business to grow, it's about growing coaches. So is anybody using something that they really love and that they find works really well for them when they're talking to somebody?
I heard something at convention that I thought was brilliant. I forget who it was that said it, but they were saying that this job is so big, they're really looking to hire people. They're looking for somebody that the business is booming to the point where you just can't keep up, and you are looking to expand your business, and you know, you are looking to hire people, and I think you'd be a great fit. You know, something like that. It's almost like flattering to the person when they think they just got hired. You know what I mean? It's almost an honor, because they might not have even considered it until you offer. In fact, they probably didn't consider it unless you offered it. But if you see something in them that they don't even know exists, it's kind of flattering. I don't know. I think just to offer, not be afraid. You know, the answer is always going to be no unless you ask. So.
And that's a great thing too, because the primary reason that people don't become health coaches is because they're not asked. Nobody asks them. So you know, really, just the worst thing that can happen is they say no, and then you have a no. So it's not a bad thing. Eric says that all the time. At least you know. So and I saw that he's on here. So who else? I love the new kit, the new interview kit for the compensation, or the for new coaches. Mm-hmm. And I love the trilogy wheel of that. One thing that I've sent to some of my clients who have been really successful lately, who've referred a few people to me. I'm sending them that, and we did this up in Tarrytown, everybody who was up there, when Dr. A had us go through this wellness assessment where you rated your physical health, your healthy mind, what's the other one? Your healthy finances, and so where are you now? And what I did was I sent to these clients, I mailed them this, and I said, I want you to do, before we talk next week, I want you to print out 2 copies of this, and I want you to fill it out like how you would have answered this before you ever started on the program. And then I want you to fill it out based on where you are right now. And then I'd love to talk about that with you, and let's compare where you were and where you are. And what I found with one of them is that health-wise, so much better where she is. Healthy mind, maybe a little bit more, like her attitude is better at work. She feels better about herself. She's having more fun. She can do some of her hobbies that she couldn't do before. But then the last part, which was the healthy finances, it's not such a big change. And in fact, here she is, she's spending money on her health, but she feels good about it. But so it led to a conversation about, that's why a lot of us become coaches, because we can see an improvement in all of these areas. And it's not, if you're healthy right now on our program, once you get to where you want to go, where do you go from then? How do you keep that momentum going? So I just, I want to suggest, we'll see what happens. I don't know if she's going to become a coach or not, but I think we just have some great tools out there just to start the conversation. So who else is doing something that's working for them or that they're optimistic about?
What I was going to share, Joan, is using the coach interview guide and just asking a lot of questions of an individual. I know for me recently, a guy that I used to work with, I've stayed in touch with, and I actually got him on the phone, and he was just a practice partner for me. Mm-hmm. So I could practice on sharing what we do and that sort of thing. But I never really shared what we did other than briefly. In initial conversation, it was just asking him a lot of questions. He wanted to know more, so I sent Dr. A's ebook to him, and asked him to do the assessment in there on ages 19 to 22. And then we met the following week in person, because this was all over the phone initially. He brought that and shared it with me, and from then I was able to transition into the Trilogy Wheel and said, this is why I asked you to do that, because we provide people with balance in their lives. And again, continue to ask him questions about what he's looking for more in his life and that sort of thing. And he was starting to see the possibilities of inserting our business instead of what he's currently doing to get to a goal that he's trying to achieve. So, and again, I still really haven't gotten into the nitty-gritty details of what we do, but he wants to keep knowing more, which is kind of cool.
So you've awakened him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're building that, you're acquiring that relationship with him. And now it's just seeing, you know, is that intrinsic motivation there. So that's great. Perfect.
Exactly.
Anybody else have anything they want to share with the group that's really seems to be working for them right now?
You guys might be really sick of hearing from me, but I just have one thing. It's not my idea. It's Donna Manley, and she is talking to 25 people a week. And what she has decided to do is inbox all her friends on Facebook and ask them specifically if they're willing to listen to her tell them in 5 minutes what it is that she does, because they know 500 people she doesn't. She will enter anybody that gives them 5 minutes of their time. She will enter them in a drawing for a $50 gift card, a Visa card. And everybody is lining up to say, sure, share, tell us what it is you do. And she has 4 bullet points talking about what she does as a health coach. And she is hoping that, you know, they will refer her. And it's never aimed at them. It's just so that they can share her. And she is able to very quickly and concisely explain what a health coach does and what she does for Take Shape for Life. And now that many more people know. And she is going through her whole list of friends on Facebook and individually contacting them. And it's really paying off for her. So
that's wonderful.
That's fabulous.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, so what are her 4 bullet points? What is she talking about so that we can have specifics? Do you know?
I actually have the email because I asked her, but she does talk about the program being medically sound and support and the nutrition. And I think it's the ongoing support, a health coach for life to teach them healthy habits to keep their weight off. So this is never a diet mentality. This is to create optimal health in their life. So she just goes over a couple points about what she does and what the program stands for, doesn't aim it at anyone, and asks that they share her, and that's it. And she's giving out that $50 gift card. She did give a sense of urgency. They need to talk to her by March 15th. And yeah, it seems to be working very well for her.
So I love that. I mean, to me, that's a very creative way. And when you think about it, what she's saying, you know, look, I just want to have a conversation so that you can help me get the word out. We have a mission, and I have some goals. I want to help, you know, however many people, you know, more. I want to help more people. So the more people who know about it, the more you know, we can get the country healthier faster. So. See, and just have the courage to have a conversation with somebody. You're not selling anything. You're just sharing information. I love that. Would you ask Donna if she'd be willing to kind of post that on our, kind of what her basic points are on our page?
Yeah, I actually have a copy of it. I'll copy and paste it and put, because I know how to do that. I can copy and paste. I will put it on the wall, and you'll see, and you can tweak it, but it's basically expounding on the 100-person list.
Yeah.
You're just creating a time to do it, and she's very conscious that it only take 5 minutes, because a lot of these people are people from high school she hasn't talked to except through Facebook, and she doesn't want this to drag on to be a 20-minute, 40-minute conversation. Right. She's got time for that. So
fabulous.
I love it. So you even say, look, I've got a bunch of calls scheduled, so can you do this time?
She always says, I want to respect your time. That's how she words it.
Right. And then if there's more interest personally, you can reschedule or maybe extend the call. That's wonderful. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have something else that's really working for them, growing their business? Well, I think all of this was great, and I do love this sharing, like, real specific nuts and bolts about what's working for us. February is a short month, but there's still so many people out there who started something in January, fell off the wagon. They're looking for something else. So, don't give up. You got, 10 more days. Is it 10? Or is it a leap year? I don't even know.
Leap year.
I don't even know. Who cares?
28 days in February this year.
All right, good. So we only have 10 more days, but there's a lot you can accomplish in 10 days. So,
hey, I have.
Who has something? Cliff?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I apologize for having to get off the phone and then back on. In the middle of it, I was getting a text from one of my clients that she's signing up for her health coach kit.
Ah!
And she was getting locked out. So I kind of was trying to fix that for her. So.
Wonderful.
Anyway, so got a new person coming on board.
Sweet. Congratulations. Congratulations.
See, we start with celebrations, we end with celebrations. That's wonderful. All right, everybody, I just want to encourage everybody to reach out. We've got a great group. If somebody's doing something that you think is terrific, reach out and message them and say, can we talk for a couple of minutes? If you want some help or feedback from me, I am here. March is a great month for me. I'm around a lot. April, not so much because we have Go Global. I have a vacation in California. So I've got some things coming up, but let's keep the momentum going and really let's see this team grow. I'd love to see some brand new successes, some new people hit new ranks that they haven't achieved before. That's when the excitement gets contagious. So let's do our best to make that happen. Anybody have anything else before we close out that they want to say? Nope. Well, I want to thank you all again. This was great. And the next one is coming up. We're going to stick with the same time frame, and we're going to stick with what are we doing? Looking at my calendar, the third Wednesday. Is that what we're doing? So it'll be March 18th. It's my son's birthday. So at 9 o'clock on Wednesday, the 18th of March, be here or be square. All right, everybody, go out and have a great week. Have a great weekend. Be safe if you're traveling down to Annapolis.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night, all.
Bob.
Bye.